Hey, welcome back. Let's get on with the next segment of this series. If you're new here, we're picking up where we left off with Paul Crewe and his prisoner recruit only challenge. Check out the link in the description to get caught up. As for the rest of you, let's dive back in. We were following the Crewe clan on their quest to found a bandit empire. Last segment, Paul pressed a diverse cohort of bandits into service, found a companion, and saved his family. He signed a mercenary contract with Ragnvald of the Sturgians to fight as a mercenary, and since then has spent most of his time chasing down soft targets like remote villages and trading caravans to fill the Crewe clan coffers. In an attempt to secure a marriage to a powerful family, Paul was rejected on multiple occasions. We need to find Paul's Courtney Cox at some point, but that can wait for now. Our main goal of this segment is going to be to make money, diversify our income stream, and expand our retinue into a force that can start to reliably take down faction parties. The hope is to reach 150 leadership and gain the Veterans Respect perk. This will allow us to take our bandits and directly promote them into expertly trained and well-equipped faction troops. We also need to start seriously investing in the steward skill. Our troop count, food and wage efficiency, and overall morale is reliant on high stewardship. Our venture as a mercenary has been profitable so far, however we did have a hiccup when the Sturgians decided to declare war on Battania. The Battanians claimed 2 workshops in Marinath that Paul purchased only shortly before. The 50,000 gold we wasted was quickly earned back from Battanian villages, trading caravans, and faction parties. To be fair, I broke my own rule when I invested in an area that had potential to become enemy territory. The smart move is going to be to reinvest 50 grand somewhere deep in Aserai territory. Or better yet, closer to 70 grand. With 3 workshops far afield of our usual raiding grounds here in Hubiar, we should hopefully not lose our workshops anytime soon. And speaking of, we need to get back in the fight. Our workshops only cover a little over half the troop wage we owe every day, and as our force grows, the impact they have on our bottom line will shrink. So it's back to the center of the map to loot Battania. Or not, goddammit Ragnvald, I have bills to pay. Whatever, it's fine. We'll use this opportunity to bring our brother into the party. His high bow skill and riding skill makes Nogand an excellent candidate to be the captain of our growing contingent of horse archers. While I really hate to buy weapons and armor this run, I think it's appropriate to give Nogand a present in honor of his new title. A noble bow and piercing arrow sets us back quite a bit, though. We need another war. Luckily, Ragnvald can't maintain a peace for long, so back to war it is, this time with Vlandia. It's time to refund our campaign. Raiding villages can be profitable depending on the wealth of the village and what they produce there. For example, this village produces silver, a valuable resource used by silversmith workshops in cities to make jewelry. It can usually be sold at a high price, but unfortunately there are larger faction parties in the area. Better set our sights on safer targets for now. This village only produces clay, but it's closer to the edge of Vlandian influence. We'll raid here until the canyon clears out, and hopefully we can finish our lucrative silver raid. While we are becoming a force to be reckoned with, avoiding full-scale battle against faction parties until we have an overwhelming advantage is a smart move. The thing is, we currently have mostly tier 4 bandit troops. If we were to be defeated in battle, finding and training a horde of bandits to tier 4 would be a slog, to put it lightly. Thinking about escape routes is just as important as choosing fights. Case in point, Paul just barely escaped this Vlandian army by sheer luck while raiding for furs. There was only one way to get clear of the army, and if it weren't for a mob of looters nearby, we would have been decimated. This is as good a time as any to start working our way closer to Sturgia. We will continue to raid as we go, but Paul needs outs should that army pop up again. We sell our plunder in Sturgia, and then we get right back out there. Before a raid starts, we need to defeat the local village militia, usually about 40 to 60 men. These troops are weak, basically equivalent to faction recruits, but with 2 specialized variants. Basic shields and short spears plus one-handed farming implements for a side armor carried by militia spearmen. Militia archers carry a crude bow and a single stack of arrows. Our party is now over 120 mostly tier 4 bandits, and Paul's combat perks make those bandits even deadlier. Emboldened by his recent victories, Paul decided to attack a faction party as it patrolled the edges of Vlandian territory. The Vlandian lord, Varmund, definitely had a better equipped force, but Paul had the numbers of the near 2-to-1 advantage. Mean Machine took minimal losses, only losing 1 brigand and wounding 3 other troops. This feels good. Paul might be ready for larger prey, so Baron Ekarand is next. This fight goes even better than the last, with no deaths and only 1 wounded bandit. After that, we fight Valeric. He fields a 100-man force, which is of course not enough to stop Mean Machine. We only lose 1 Harami horseman, and take our 3rd Vlandian lord prisoner. We take our 3 incarcerated lords to Revel, and offer them to the Sturgians as tribute. They grant us 26 influence as a reward, totaling us at 66 influence. Plus, our gold is back up over 100 grand. For the near future, we can expect to remain financially secure. On our way back from Vlandia, we ran into that army from earlier. It got a bit bigger. Fortunately, we're in a position to maneuver with our party speed over 6. Paul keeps the attention of the army and gently tugs it deeper into Battanian territory. Really, I was testing if this would even work. I can see this technique coming in handy once we have our own kingdom. But enough distractions. Paul needs gold, and these caravans aren't going to pirate themselves. Defeating caravans isn't much of a challenge for Paul, and there isn't exactly a lot of influence to be made, but it's enough to maintain as we find better targets, and it's better than nothing. Besides, there is something silently satisfying about playing a dirty bandit like Paul. I don't need to do backflips in my headcanon to justify why Paul is attacking the weak, defenseless caravans of Sturgia's enemies. Paul's a bad guy. He's only fighting when he has the advantage because that's what pirates do. He has no honor to uphold, he doesn't worry about glory for his clan or his kingdom. The only two languages Paul speaks are money and violence, and Paul prefers violence. Since this violent band of cretins hasn't lost a fight in a good long while, we officially add faction parties to our list of targets when roaming the countryside. We take some more of Bannerlord's prisoner, and then continue to hunt for victims here in Britannia. Caravans are always a nice treat, although they're becoming less competitive next to the loot that faction warbands have been generating. Still, we take home a tidy 45 grand in profit after selling our spoils in town. Then, it's right back out for more of the same. We need to leverage our warband to take on more profitable prey. While pretty much anything is better than nothing, caravans and roaming faction parties of mostly Tier 1 recruits do not produce loot in high enough volumes. Remember, wars are not permanent and lean times will come again. Paul's troop wage is over 1,000 gold now. Maintaining a steady flow of influence and selling the spoils of this war are the only thing keeping our bandits from the unemployment line. That being said, Paul's reached a high enough level in roguery that he can recruit bandit parties by simply talking to them. While filling in the rank and file is still a drag, it makes topping up our troop numbers much easier. Oh, and Paul just got to level 75 in tactics. I decided to go with the perk that gives him plus 10 to party size. Nice. We donate our prisoners to top off our influence and then head back out on patrol. We come across our allies stuck in the fight, so we get in there too. Paul shows off his prowess in the battlefield and scores himself some additional experience in the charm skill to boot when this Viking-looking guy thanks him for his help. I think it's time we expand our little syndicate. At some point, Nogand is going to form a caravan to start helping us deal with our ever-growing cost of doing business. Before that, however, I'm going to need to start developing more companions. Combat sets are important for anyone who hitches their wagon to the Crewe clan. I mean, let's face it, our family business is mostly piracy with some light bootlegging on the other side of the world. I need any future commanders of my forces to have the skills to lead a diverse war party. This will also entail, at some point, training my companions in scouting, leadership, stewardship, and a sprinkling of roguery, medicine, and siegecraft. Some of those I can begin to work on by assigning my soldiers to roles in my own party, but I don't intend on doing that until they can really hold their own on the field. The war between Bandy and Sturgia has finally concluded, leaving Paul and his merry men to find a meal ticket elsewhere. With 350 grand in the bank, we'll be okay going forward as long as we make smart decisions. We're going to lead with making Nogand a trader. He has 2 points in the steward skill and 2 points in trade, and is accomplished as a horse archer on the battlefield. Nogand will hopefully offset the hole that's just been made in the bottom of our bank account until Sturgia can get their stuff together and go back to war. In the meantime, Paul traipses around Calradia doing anything he can to offset the oppressive cost of keeping 150 greedy bandits satiated until our next big conflict. Mostly, that has been clearing bandit hideout spawns across the map. Other than the chance to get a tier 5 bandit boss to take prisoner, bandit hideouts are a good opportunity to train our companions. You can only take 10 non-player characters in, so it's a good way to force our captains to take a direct role in the action instead of hiding behind a wall of brigands and sea raiders. Fortunately, it isn't too long before Ragnvald decides to declare war again, this time against Emperor Garrios of the Western Empire. You know the drill. Defeat the Western Empire warbands, take their lords hostage, and trade them back to the Sturgians for sweet influence. So we took 4 enemy lords into custody, helped Ragnvald take Hertogia Castle, and dumped them off there. 19 influence to the pot. The role that the Crewe clan plays for Sturgia is tedious, but it's necessary. Building an independent clan requires more training, and this mercenary contract gives us the opportunity to train while still earning money. Paul joined a few ongoing sieges, and then he took down a few more lords. The campaign against the Western Empire so far has really been nothing to write home about. The focus going into the next segment will continue to be on training our companions and progressing towards independence. As easy as the mercenary life can be, Paul promises Bandit Army their own kingdom and intends to deliver. Thanks for watching the second episode of Paul's story, and thank you for bearing with me as I make these things. There's a lot more to planning and editing than I initially thought. I've always been a kinesthetic learner, and your patience with my process is in itself a compliment. I'm very grateful for your viewership during my training wheel phase. Please do me the honor of liking this video and subscribing to my channel. I'll have the next segment out for you as soon as I can. And please, if you have any recommendations for runs, tips on video editing, or anything you want to voice, leave me a comment. It's a strange thing making a YouTube video and posting it to a global audience. Knowing your thoughts as an audience is very important to me, and I'm looking forward to hearing from anyone willing to participate. So until the next one, and as always, never stop looking for new ways to challenge yourself. There are too many good games on Steam to live life bored. If you haven't already, download this game. I cannot recommend Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord enough.